Although you can create text at the drawing page, the engraving list page is an easy way to create text if you already know the size and location of the text. Remember to look at the prompts at the bottom of the screen. The prompt reminds you that to create some text, just start typing. You don't have to first click the mouse or press any keys. As soon as you start typing, a prompt appears at the top of the screen to remind you to press the Enter key or the up or down arrow keys on the keyboard when you're finished. Notice that as I type the text, it shows as green characters on a brown background. This unusual color is meant to grab your attention and remind you that you are in the process of entering data. As soon as I press the Enter key, the color returns to normal to show that you're finished entering data. After you created some text, information about it appears along the right side of the screen. The X and Y coordinates specify the location of the text. Right now, both of them are set to 0. The X and Y coordinates specify one of 9 possible locations of the text. To select one of those 9 locations, click the Alignment data field, which has a red arrow pointing downward to remind you that there is a menu on that field. If I select the upper left corner, that means the upper left corner of the text will be placed at whatever X and Y coordinates are showing in the data field above, which in this example is 0, 0. If I select the center of the text for alignment, that means the center of the text will be placed at that XY coordinate. All of the data fields that you see at the engraving list page can be accessed at the drawing page also, and this page lets you see what you are doing. To make the text active, don't click the mouse. Instead, just move the mouse so that it is somewhere over the dotted lines that surround the text. When the text becomes active, the prompt along the bottom of the screen changes to show a few of the keyboard shortcut commands, such as E to edit the line of text, or C to bring up the convert menu, or pressing N to switch to the next tab along the right side of the screen. I will now press the letter N, and you can see that the tab has changed to the Tools tab. I will press N again and it will switch back to the Text tab. To change any of the data fields, just slide the mouse over to the right side of the screen. Or you can press E on the keyboard to edit the fields and the mouse will slide for you. The Wrap on Radius field is if you want to wrap the text around an arc. The prompt along the bottom of the screen reminds you of this. I will set it to a 1-inch radius. When the text is wrapped around an arc, the XY coordinates at the top of the data field specify the center of the arc. To change the text back to a straight line, just put the cursor bar on the radius field and press 0, or press the delete key. The width ratio determines whether the text is compressed or expanded. A width ratio of 1.0 is normal. A width ratio of 0.5 squashes the text to half its normal width. And a width ratio of 2 will double the width of the text. The slant gives the text an italic appearance. The rotation of the text follows most CAD programs that have 0 degrees at the 3 o'clock position and 90 degrees at the 12 o'clock position. At the Tool tab, you specify what you want to do with this text. If you specify the usage to be a drawing aid, that means you want to look at it on the screen, but you do not want to produce CNC code. If you specify the usage to be cut centerline, that means the tool will follow the center of the lines and arcs that make up each character. Remember that the data fields that have a red arrow pointing downward have menus. So if you click the field that has the tool number, you'll get more information about the tool. I will set this to a tapered tool with a 60-degree taper. I'll specify that it has a total cutting depth of 0.035 inches. When you're cutting very hard materials, you might want the tool to cut in multiple passes. I will set the maximum cut per depth to 0.02 inches. Millwright will divide the total depth by the maximum depth per cut and round upward. This will cause the tool to make 2 passes in order to engrave this text. At the 3D view page, you can see the 2 passes. And if you switch to the 3D model, you can watch it cut. You can press the space bar and backspace key to go forward and backward. This particular font is a MillWrite font. There are 2 different categories of fonts to choose from, namely the MillWrite fonts and the TrueType fonts. Most of the MillWrite fonts are single-stroke fonts that are intended for quick engraving. The tool can engrave them in 1 pass. The MillWrite fonts are best for engraving part numbers or serial numbers. The TrueType fonts are outline fonts. They are best for decorative engraving. They are often set to be pocketed so that the inside of the letter can be cleaned out. When pocketing with a tapered tool or a ball end mill, you need to set the step size to be small, such as 10 to 30%, in order to make the bottom of the pocket fairly smooth. With a large step size, such as 50%, the tool will leave material between each pass. A smaller step size will cause the tool to overlap its last path much more, which increases machining time, but makes the bottom smoother. The tool paths are now much closer together. When you're ready to produce CNC code, just switch to the NC program page. If you click the button along the right side of the screen that says Show Toolpath, you can proof the CNC code. And you can draw slowly if you want to see what the tool is doing. You can press the spacebar and backspace key to go forward and backward. If the CNC program looks okay, you can save it on your disk or to a USB memory stick or send it out the serial port.